to join. Every organization for research work, they have their own list of guidelines. Actually, these are normally guidelines. It has to be followed with your own feelings. There will not be any much legal action if you don't follow, but there may be the institutional action may happen. Some of the things we can will discuss today also. Okay. So in the first thing we have discussed about the honesty, fairness, confidentiality. Those things we have to maintain whenever we are having some publications. कुछ doubt है? And also during authorship, plagiarism, duplicate publications, those things we have discussed. So we'll move forward. चलेगा? So yesterday I had just started this that whenever you are doing any research work, there may be a lot of collaboration will be there, and because single-handedly we may not be able to complete all the work, so we need to have some collaboration with them, and that should be a fairness during the collaboration, and when whoever contributes, the person has to be acknowledged, and if, it is important to recognize the individual who initiates and do the coordination type of job, because whenever we are doing a, because that person should be the nodal person. So that we have to first have the person, like if you are joining somebody during your JRF program, so your guide may be the coordinating person, and he may be contacting with each person who will be assisting with to your work, and for if you need some other type of experiment, who is the person, that person will be more responsible for that, because as a newcomer you may not be knowing all the persons. So that type of nodal person has to be there whenever there is a research work, and that person should be responsible for that. And also whenever we are doing any experimental work, some equipments we have to use, or some softwares, like in computer related things, sophisticated computing programs has to be used. So that cannot be single handedly, or single person cannot use that particular instrument or software. So there will be many persons, or that the sharing of the equipment is also must, and there will be fairness during the sharing of the equipment. We should not hide that this is my instrument, because many times I have also encountered that this is my instrument, and they don't allow many other persons to come. Sometimes they're right also in that way, manner that if any new person will come and they may spoil that instrument, and it's a very sophisticated sometimes the instruments are, and if any new persons, like some project trainees, they come, they don't allow. So it is little fair that some known person because yesterday I have also told that the person, if it is qualified and is technically sound, then that person should be allowed. Not that every person should be allowed, but some persons who is eligible, or having the qualified or the trained person, those persons should not be barred from using that particular instrument. So sharing of the equipment is also very must during the research work. Next is the handling of data. This also I have little told, and whenever there is a research program, a lot of data will be generated, and that has to be handled. And that should be investigated in any given field should familiarize themselves with the methods of handling. So that's why we have included this statistical analysis part during your research methodology course, because which statistical tool has to be used, that you should have some fair knowledge before going further using that particular, because not only whatever we have taught you during your class, because these are very preliminary things also, we have to, there are many statistical packages are also nowadays available, so you may be required that type of things also during your research program, so you can build upon that thing. We have given the only the glimpse and the basic things during your classes, and if you were really into data analysis type of thing, and a lot of data you'll be generating during your program, so you can build up whatever what type of statistical tool you need. And so handling of data is also very much required, because whatever we conclude from our research work, that is based on upon our interpretation of our data. So handling of data is also very important, and we should be fairly report whatever data is generated, because that may lead to some new things also. We may our main motto may be doing something, and we may get some negative results during our experiment. But that during if you are getting some negative results, sometimes we keep that thing, and whatever positive we get, that we represent. It's not like that. Whenever we are getting some negative results also, we have to present that thing, because that will may lead to some new findings. So the handling of data has to be very important, and research should be aware that that also I have told that after your publication also somebody may question. That we'll discuss today. Thesis writing part I'll be covering in the afterwards, so I'm not covering that thing. So whenever we are sending any research work for publication, it is always better to some screening of that particular manuscript. In BRC, we have a facility. Other institute also may be having such a facility. We send it to one division is there. So there we plagiarize plagiarism testing. We send our manuscript. And it has to go through the proper authority also. So they will know that yes, this particular work has been seen by their authority. So it is not having any confidential or something which should not go to the public domain. And then they do the plagiarism test. Plagiarism means the similarity test. I told you that some parts, many we have a tendency that we, while reading, we just copy the thing, and we put it in our result that somebody has done like this, and our work is how it is comparable. But we should not copy that one. So that similarity test report is very much important nowadays when we are sending our work for any publications. Okay, so that plagiarism. And also whenever you will be submitting your thesis as JRF and HBNI student, whenever you will be submitting the thesis, at the end of the thing, you have to have the plagiarism report also with you. That is essential in HBNI. So it is better to have it in the practice from the beginning, so that whenever you are sending anything for publication, it's better to do the plagiarism test. And plagiarism softwares also are nowadays available in Google also. You can test, but sometimes it doesn't take long articles. So part wise also we can send it the plagiarism test. But whenever we are working in BRC, there is a facility is there, and it is better to have that, because whenever we are doing our own plagiarism test and see that our plagiarism test may not be valid. But if I am doing a validity from a third party in BRC, so that is more valid. So it is better to use those things. Okay. So you can do your own plagiarism test also. You can send them to the SIRD, which is authorized means organization or means system in BRC. You can send your whatever manuscript you are writing to SIRD. Here I have given the email address also. Whenever you are coming to BRC, you will be aware of these things. So there is a some system is there in BRC or in other institutes that you have to do the plagiarism test or the similarity test before sending any your research work for publications. That you have to keep it in mind. So similar ethical guidelines may be extended to other institute also. So as soon as your paper is published, it will be scrutinized by BRC for any evidence of plagiarism also. That is, afterwards also any publication is there, so there is a system is there. So they check and they take your publication and display in the library also. If you see, anytime you have been to BRC library, you have not gone. So they will take, I think, during your course. So it's a good library is there in BRC. So while you enter inside the BRC, then the left side there will be display of various publications. So whatever good publications will be there during that particular 1 month or 2 month period. So they used to show it. The front pages they take the printouts and they show it. So these are the different types of varieties of work is being carried out type of thing. So they have the system that whenever BRC persons are publishing something, so they know and they scrutinize also. Okay. So at the end, in this particular code of ethics part, B ethics it is known as. So all authors on BRC affiliation are required to sign an undertaking. Nowadays we are not actually signing, but in principle we should sign this. And there is a oath on code of ethics that my name, and have read the BRC code of ethics for publications, and we are abide to the rules that we will be following this. So this we have to click in the BTS site. So in BRC, once you join, you will have the email access there. So there also this BB ethics is available. So all the authors are supposed to do the oath in that particular system. In the beginning, we had done. Now for every publication, we are not doing, but initially we had done that. So if due to any reason your publication is having some words or means misconduct has been observed after your publication, so there is a that possibility that you can retract also your publication from the journals or whatever you are published. So that is retraction procedure is also there. So here it is known as ethics of retraction. Publishers, editors, reviewers of all scholarly publications have to be vigilant to avoid any possible unethical misconduct on their part or part of other authors. Yet there could be cases when instances of diverse categories of unethical practices during that particular published work, and whenever this type of published work is noticed by publication by the reader or author or reviewer, the publication may be retracted. Retracted means you can withdraw that paper after the publication also. Okay. So if you are finding that yesterday I had told you the case, the person's sent to one journal, it was getting delayed, so that person had sent to the another journal. So whenever it is published in immediate, means same time in two journals, so that was the public that author's means responsibility, that he or she should have retracted both the papers immediately, because this is completely violation of the thing. So whenever you have understood that you have violated something, you have to retract the thing. You would have retracted both the papers immediately, but that person has not done something. So lot of some issues were there. So that type of, if you understand that yes, during my cases something has happened, it is always better to write to the editor first that something has done, and we are trying to retract that work. Okay. So during some experiments also, some interference studies are not done, like some medical type of the research. It happens many times that some drugs we prepare, like COVID, let us assume COVID, somebody has prepared a drug which is very effective. Okay. So immediately there will be a tendency that will be published in the immediately, so that my work will be recognized. So during that time I may not have done all the interference studies, but during the interference study I may feel that this drug is very means potential harm to the patient. It is curing the COVID, but it is creating some heart disease or some mental disease or something, it may happen. So that I have not studied in the beginning, but whenever I feel that something has been done, it is my responsibility to write to the editor that something has been done, it was not done. So either you can retract the paper, or you can send a errata also. Errata means there is a change in that particular at the end of the publication. There is a possibility that you can, one errata can be published after that publication also. So in that you can tell that this part was not done in that particular publication, so now we have done that, so this is a part of that work. Okay. So that type of errata also you can write. So besides the international unintentional unethical practices, cases of errors in the judgment and interpretation of data may also be noticed by authors or readers. Such cases need to be dealt with differently by the authors and editors. They may agree to publish an erratum, and even a new paper to clarify the earlier error or the misjudgment can be sent to that particular publications. Okay. So whenever you are doing, and if you are finding that some mistake has been done during your interpretation or the data collection or whatever thing, afterwards also you can write down thing. So this is the ethical practice, that you are doing good job, but afterwards may feel that I have done some mistake due to something which we have not encountered, understood during the first publication. So after that also you can either retract or you can send a erratum also. Followed? So after all these things, if you feel that I have this, not I have done, somebody in that research fraternity has done some mistake. So there is a procedure in BRC, and similar procedure will be available in all other organizations, that you can point out the mistake. Means some ethical misconduct has been happened. Okay. So in BRC, whatever procedure is available, that I am going to tell briefly now. So there is a reporting, there is a processing of the complaint, investigation and disposal of the complaint, then passing the final orders and provision for the appeal. These are the various steps which are available for if somebody finds that some misconduct of the ethical breach has been happened by a BRC scientist or similarly applicable to all scientists. Here we are talking about just BRC because I am following that BRC guidelines. Okay. So if somebody, the person may be a BRC employees or maybe outside person also, from any source, if somebody has come across that some misconduct has been happened by a BRC employee, so what he or she should do? Specific complaints on informal ethical misconduct BRC should be reported in confidence. There is a chairman standing committee for the scientific ethical committee. So this particular thing is available in BRC website also. So they can write to the chairman of that particular committee that we observe some misconduct by some scientific person. So this can be taken as a complaint, or it can be seen as a case. The complaint can be made by anyone, not necessarily by an employee of BRC. So during the putting up the complaint, they must carry the full name, contact details, and signature of the complaint. If somebody is doing, it has to be authentic also. Not that because nowadays many persons are not doing anything. They are just seeing some website and they are for fun. They sometimes apply for some complaints, RTIs. Nowadays, lot of our people are just for the sake of sending some RTI, they are sending. And so similarly also for to just to have some fun, they will write that somebody has done some misconduct. So if some cases that complaints are coming, so there is a committee, they see that whether this is a real case to go forward or not. So they have, in the first screening they do, if they find that there is the person is authentically giving their own details, and because that will be anonymous, they will not disclose the things, the committee will not disclose the thing, but they know that somebody is, when they are complaining, they should openly tell that yes, I feel that this misconduct has been happened, and I am giving, these are the evidences that this is a misconduct has been happened. So just by guessing, we cannot do that. We have to have some evidence that so this cannot happen, because and this has been published. So on that basis, on what basis the person is complaining, that also should be written in the complaint. Okay. The complaint should accompanied by supporting evidences to enable the committee to decide whether prima facie case exists. Means true, this is a true case or not. They will see the committee will see the evidences, and then they will move forward with the, if they found that there is some value in that particular case, they will go for the case study. Okay. The committee will submit the preliminary report to first director of BIRC, indicating that prima facie case exists or not. So if it is not proper, then if for just somebody they found that somebody just for fun or something, they can dismiss the case also. If they are finding any possibility of the trueness in that particular complaint, they will definitely go ahead with the complaint and solving this thing. Based on their findings, Director BIRC may close the case or order further investigation by the committee. Okay, this is the responsibility of the Director BIRC. And then they process the complaint. Once they found that there is a possibility of real some misconduct happened by a BIRC person, so they will process that complaint. So these are the various steps. So all the complaints will be first acknowledged. They will acknowledge the complainant that okay, now we are finding that this is a real misconduct might have happened. So we are doing the process. We are starting the process. So confidentiality of the complaint will be protected. So that they will not disclose, because if they will disclose by any chance, the authority or somebody may act against that person. So they completely maintain the confidentiality. Okay. And anonymous, pseudo-anonymous, and unsigned complaints will not be entertained. So if the person is not disclosing his or her name during the complaint, there is a possibility that they will not go ahead with the complaint. Okay, so the person has to tell that their confidentiality will be maintained, but though that person who is giving the complaint should tell that yes, this is my identity and I am giving the complaint. Okay. The complaint and informant should await disposal of the complaint by BRC, and during that process they should not publicize the complaint or pursue it in any other forum during the investigation. So whenever somebody is feeling that there is some misconduct, they will write to that committee, and the committee will go through the BRC, and during that time they should not go to the report and that news channel, those things, that should not happen. So if there that type of thing is there, the BRC may stop that investigation, because the two channels they don't allow. Okay. So sometimes for just to tarnish the fame of some scientists, sometimes people do this type of complaints also. So that unnecessarily, if there will be nothing proper misconduct, but the name is coming in the news channel, everybody will say that okay, BRC scientists had done this type of thing. So this type of things are not entertained and allowed. So there will be no action against the complaint if the complaint turns out to be unfounded, as long as the complaint were made in sincerity and good faith. If due to at the end of the investigation, the BRC the authority has found that the whatever complaint is not proper, so they will tell that complaint at the end. No action will be taken. But however, BRC reserves the right to proceed against the complaints if complaints turn out upon investigation to have falsely made with deliberate intent to malign the individual or the organization. Sometimes somebody wants to defame some scientist or some organization. So that time also they put some complaints like this. So in that case, BRC can have some procedures against that particular person who is complaining. Okay. Otherwise, anybody can give the complaint if somebody feels that something wrong has been happened. Okay. Now, after they understand that some true case is there, so they do the investigation, and following director's order, initiate the investigation, the committee will formally communicate to the complaint, that is the authors, complaint to the authors, and hereafter these authors are known as respondents. This word is given, and seek their written explanation. So they will ask the authors to tell that this type of misconduct might have happened from your side. You give your explanation. This time, I told you your the raw data keeping is very important, and your the laboratory notebook and signed notebook, those things are important. If something such things happen, so they may ask for raw data also. Okay, so that's why data keeping for certain period, normally 3 years and all the such period is required. In afterwards, because if something happens like this, that will be very beneficial. Then within 30 days, the authors has to reply to BRC author, that particular committee. The complaint and the respondents will be informed of the decision of the decision to initiate the investigation by the committee. The respondents are required to cooperate fully with the committee, so that the authors should reply within 30 days of time. The committee will conduct the investigation fairly and insidiously. So they will unbiasedly they will see that what are the authors are replying, and they have the third party also may investigate that particular situation has happened or not. The committee will examine the evidence on the record and may seek personal interviews with the complainant and the respondents, or communicate with any other means as deemed fit. So they can assign some other person also to investigate that this type. You see that whether some type of misconduct has happened or there, because unnecessarily, if somebody has something has happened, it will not only tarnish the feature of that particular scientist or the particular author, it will be give a bad name to the organization also. Okay, so they fairly do the investigation. The committee will record the statements of the respondents and reporting of its findings. Recommendation to the director BRC, then they send that recommendation to director BRC. The committee should ensure that conclusions were well reasoned and recommendations are actionable. So they send the recommendation to director BRC. And passing the final orders, on receipt of the report of the committee, director BRC will either decide to accept the report in full or accept the partially or reject it fully also. Director BRC has the authority to do this. Okay, the reason will be recorded. Why director BRC is doing this, that reason also he has to write, because afterwards also somebody may question the director BRC, because director BRC has performed the committee, but he has the authority to take partial opinion of the committee also. And there the director BRC has to note down that on what basis he or she is doing like this. The final order in the matter will be communicated to the authors, that is the respondents. The respondents are required to acknowledge the same by 10 working days. So the director BRC will send that this type of committee report has come, and this is the final or verdict what we are, because it's really some misconduct has been happened or not, that they will communicate to the authors. Copies of these orders may also be forwarded to the complaints and concerned head of the division. So here every person work on certain divisions, so they will tell the division head also this type of things has happened in your division. Okay. In case of charge of ethical misconduct against the respondents is proved, the box of professional integrity in that year's APAR will be suitably marked. Here, for this is actually not for JRFs. This is mostly for the employees. Here, at the end of each year, we have a APAR system, means annual appraisal system. So in that, we have to write down what have the person has been done during that period. If some misconduct has been proved, it will be noted down in the APAR. So it will be a black mark, you can say, in your career. Okay. The copy of the order will be filled in the respective APAR dossier. So there is a APAR dossier is there. Your all the records will be there. There, this misconduct proven certificate also will be there. Okay. So after that also there is a provision of appeal. The respondents, that is the authors, may file an appeal against the order of the designated higher authority within 1 month of the issue of the order. The respondents may bring out specific facts overlooked by the committee, because the committee has been formed and they had done their work fairly, but during that also there is a possibility that some things they might have not seen properly. So the respondents, if they are innocent, they have the another chance to prove that they are innocent. So they can appeal to the director of BRC that again this investigation can be carried out. Okay. So all these rigorous type of things are there in BRC, and this type of things will be available in all institutes, so that some misconduct, if anything has been happened, it has to be rectified. Okay. So the designated higher authority will dispose of the appeal within 1 month. So this is the final procedure. Okay. So this is about the ethics during the publications, whatever I wanted to share with you, whatever is available in BRC. And now I'll be telling little about the ethics of research. So research, as you know, it is a search of knowledge, and it is finding out the gap areas during the previous some works, and to enlighten some new things which have been missed in the previous study. So here we assume that the previous work that has been done, these are true work. If somebody is reporting some false data, I may go in the completely reverse or completely the wrong direction. So we assume that whatever is published, those are true things. Okay. So similarly, other person also feel that whatever I am publishing, that is also truer, that is the fair things. Okay. Because somebody will find some gap areas from my work, and they may spend years to solve. So when as a research person, I have a responsibility that I'll be reporting all the true data, true research findings. So research ethics are guidelines and principles that govern. I told you these are the guidelines, not the laws. It is not actually laws. These are the guidelines and principles that govern the responsible conduct of the research, ensuring it's conducted with integrity, respect, and fairness. They cover a wide range of issues from participant rights, data handling to intellectual property and potential harm. So those things will be discussed afterwards a little bit. So why this research ethics are important? This is quite common. We all know this, but still then, just by point wise, we'll see once again. So first is ensuring trust and credibility, because whenever we are doing any research, we expect that people will trust our research work. So ethical research builds trust in the scientific community and the public. So if I am publishing good things, and I'll get the respect also, and in my scientific community also I'll gain that respect, and if that work is related to public welfare also, I'll get the public's respect also. So I have to maintain the ethical principles there. Next, the protecting the human rights. So ethical guidelines are crucial for protecting the. I'll give one example at the end of this class where this human rights are completely violated by a big organization during the research work that I'll be discussing today. So ethical guidelines are crucial for protecting the rights and well-being of the research participants, because in many research work we involve many people. Okay, so especially during the medical type of applications. So there we involve many per person, and even the social type of investigations, social type of research, we take the opinion of many persons. So some of the examples we will be discussing, so that will be more clear at that time. And also maintaining scientific integrity, because that is very much important whenever we are doing on any type of research. Ethics ensure the validity and reliability of our research finding. If all the things are ethical manner we have conducted our research, so there will be no question for our research, and there will be validation of our research work. And also promoting accountability. I told that the person has to be responsible whenever we are doing any research work, and that's why somebody has to be the nodal person, somebody has to be accountable. And during the publication also we write down that who is responsible for what type of work, because if it's a combined effort, all the persons may not have contributed to the all the work. So who has contributed to what type of work, so there we have to be accountable. Okay. And fostering a culture of integrity. So ethical conduct creates a positive and respectful research environment. So if I am doing everything ethically, so I'll not have any fear to tell that, yeah, I have not, I have done this, and I have. If I'm doing something wrong, I'll try to hide it. Whenever you try to hide it, there is always fear. So if I am not done anything wrong, why should I fear? So that gives a very good positive environment whenever you do the research. That's why ethical guidelines are must during any type of research. Okay. So there are these four key points, key principles, I should say that during research ethics. So these are known as autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. So what are these four things? First is autonomy, means respecting individual right to make their own decision about participating in a particular research. So if I am taking opinion of this particular JRF class, that how is VRs doing? So you may feel you may give the, because if you are finding telling something wrong, I may report to your boss or something like that. So you may not properly tell. But if I'm really doing a research about certain uh, getting this type of opinion, I should be telling you frankly, be able to uh, frankly tell that whether you are really ready for the participation or not. If somebody tell that no sir, I cannot tell the truth clearly, so let me out of that particular, so I should respect that. Okay. If somebody is not means participating in my research as a participant, I should respect that. And I can convince also. That is my job. So to, if I want to increase means get the all the students, I can convince that okay, I'll put the anonymity, confidentiality, those things I'll have. That I can do. But I cannot force you that no, you have come to my class means you have to participate. No, this is not allowed. Okay. So first, autonomy you have to maintain. Somebody, if somebody is participating in my research, they have to come on their own. I can try to convince in the beginning, but yourself should come that yes, I want to participate. Next is the beneficence, means maximize the potential benefits of research while minimizing the potential risks. Like that, here I'll see, for many of the medical tests, we require human trials. Okay. So human trials means I have to try on some human. So there I should keep it in mind that the benefit should be much more than the whoever is getting affected, because during that trial somebody may get some pain, somebody may get some disease like that. So that is a possibility is there, but I expect that the benefit will be much more to the larger community, like that COVID. If and we're putting a vaccine, COVID vaccine, they have tested when some patients also in the beginning. Okay. So without testing on some patients, they cannot put it on the normal public. Okay. So, but during that, they have understood that it is really a problem to the patients, because that's why they in the beginning they don't just go for the human, the type of research in the beginning. They would try small animals, then little bigger animals, then baboons type of animals. Then to do finally is the human trial. So like this, they try to minimize the pain, or that is the difficulties compared to the benefit. So this is known as beneficence, maximizing the potential benefits of the research while minimizing the potential risks. Okay. So this is the second point. Third is the non-maleficence is avoiding harm to research participants and society. So similar, this is similar to that. So there should not be any harm, because during a particular work, if I am feeling that some interfering effects or some bad effects are there, then I should tell clearly to the participant that there is a possibility that this may harm you, and also if I am feeling that harm is more, then I should stop that. Okay. And now last is the justice, ensuring fair selection of participants and equitable distribution of the benefit of the research. Here, whenever I'll give the examples, this will be more clearer. Like that, whenever I'm doing, I'll not just select certain participants. We are like choosing some slaves, because if I am having nowadays the slavery has been stopped, but earlier slavery was there in African countries. Much slavery things were there. So many persons used to get the slaves. So they used to conduct the experiment on the slaves, so that they will not react. In India also आपने सुना रहेगा ना, बहुत वो पुराना स्टोरी वगैरह पढ़ा रहेगा, वो मूवी वगैरह में भी दिख जाता है कि कुछ कीड़ा है क्या? ओके, सो होता है ना, वो जो पर्सन्स होते हैं जिसको खरीद लेते हैं तो वो उनका प्रॉपर्टी हो जाते हैं। तो प्रॉपर्टी हो जाएगा तो हमने आपको खरीद लिया है, आप हमारे अगेंस्ट में कुछ बोल नहीं सकते हो, तो हम आपके ऊपर कोई भी टेस्ट कर सकते हैं। ऐसा नहीं करना है। तो अगर कोई वीक पर्सन्स रहते हैं, अ, जैसा है कि ये रास्ते में भिखारी लोग हैं, तो भिखारी लोगों के ऊपर हमको अगर हमको टेस्ट करना है, मैं आप लोगों को पूछूंगा तो आप बोलेंगे कि नहीं सर, मुझे मैंने कुछ खाना बनाया, हाँ कुछ मुझे ये फूड कुछ उसके ऊपर कुछ टेस्ट करना है, मैं आपको दूंगा तो आपके पास तो खाना है ना, तो यू विल नॉट टेक। तो मैं क्या करूंगा, रास्ते में देखूंगा भिखारी लोगों के ऊपर उसको ट्राई करूंगा, तो उनका हेडेक हो रहा है कि क्या हो रहा है मुझे दिखेगा। तो ऐसा नहीं करना है मुझे। तो मैंने मुझे अगर कोई भी फूड को टेस्ट करना है तो प्रॉपरली होमोजीनियस मास के ऊपर मुझे करना है, एक पर्टिकुलर को जो मुझे इजीली अवेलेबल हो जाए, जो मेरे को मीन्स एथिकल को साइड में रख के अगर मुझे ऐसे कुछ पॉपुलेशन मिल जाए जिसके ऊपर मेरा लार्ज नंबर मिल जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं करना है। सो आई शुड बी फेयरली चूज द पॉपुलेशन हु आई एम टारगेटिंग फॉर माई रिसर्च वर्क। so this type of justice I have to do। ठीक है। So here I have given some ethical issues and the definitions. So first is voluntary participation has to be there whenever some population is used. Your participants are free to opt in and out of the study at any point of time. So if I am doing on a particular population, the population has the means option always to be in the research, or they can opt out from the research at any time. That option has to be there with the particular population. And is the informed consent. So I have to inform all the participants that I am doing this type of research and this may have a particular benefit, and that's why I am doing it. So I am preparing a food material and I cannot just distribute among to see that whether you are having headache or you are having a mood like that. I should not use that. So I have to tell that these are the things I have done and this for this particular purpose I am doing. So where that informed consent has to be there, and anonymity has to be maintained, that confidentiality has to be maintained. you don't know the identity of the participants. So if I'm doing a research on this particular population, I'll not see that in which class I'm distributing that particular thing. Okay, so that type of research anonymity has to be maintained. Then if I know you, so I have to maintain the confidentiality. Okay, and potential harm also. Potential harm means physical, social, and psychological. All the threes are important. If I am one more example I have written, I have today. So there the psychological problem may happen to the participants. So that type of thing also. And physical harm means if I'm putting a medicine to a particular group of people to see that there what is something is effect there. So that physical problem also may can happen. And social harm means that also I'll giving one more examples that will be more clearer. So it should not, our research should not have potential harm for the mass of the people or the participants. It should be more beneficial. Okay. Result communication. So whatever finding we are getting from the our research, that has to be communicated to the respondents also. To you ensure your work is free of plagiarism and research misconduct, and you accurately represent the result. Okay. So potential harm I was telling, na? So here I have a little elaborated this thing. So as a researcher, you have to consider all possible source of harm to the participants. So if I are using some participants, so what what are the types of harm that can your research can impact on that particular respondent, that you should know. It may be physical, it may be psychological, it may be social also. So one example in the big end I have written. Let us first go through the harm can come from many different forms. First is the psychological forms. Sensitive questions or tasks may trigger negative emotions. If somebody like I work from some underprivileged kids, so there sometimes we are ask the kids about what happened earlier stage. And if they will tell go, okay, I have a mummy, I don't have father, we don't ask much further, because if only mommy is that, lady may be from some other area which is not that person may not, that boy or that girl may not be easy to tell that my mommy works in that particular area. So we stop there. Okay, so that way we have to very conscious that up to what level we should go. Okay, it's our questions should not trigger some emotional things in that particular participants. So similarly, social harm. Participation can involve social risk, public embarrassment, and stigma. Like if I am telling that the alcohol is very common nowadays, but still then अल्कोहल को कुछ कुछ जगह पे खुद बहुत खराब माना जाता है ना, ऐसा होता है कि कोई अगर बच्चा अल्कोहल पी रहा है तो थोड़ा बदमाश बच्चा ऐसा माना जाता है, तो ऐसा है नहीं, पर ऐसा माना जाता है बहुत सारे जगह पे। आजकल ओपन हो रहा है, पर बहुत सारा इंडिया में ऐसा जगह है जहाँ पे अगर पता चलेगा कि मेरा बेटा और बेटी अल्कोहल ले रहा है, तो उसमें उनको थोड़ा सा फैमिली प्रेशर वगैरह आ सकता है। तो अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे जो मेरे जेआरएफ स्टूडेंट्स है, उनका अल्कोहल हैबिट कैसा है उसको, और उसको मैंने पब्लिश कर दिया विद द नेम, this persons 15 persons are taking daily alcohol, and this news has gone to their parents, so they may, that will be a social stigma will be there, ठीक है ना। तो ऐसा होता है, अल्कोहल का जस्ट एक एग्जांपल दिया, ऐसा अलग अलग आप खुद से सोच सकते हो कि कहाँ पे आपको रिसर्च में कहाँ लेके जा सकते हैं, ड्रग्स कहीं लग सकता है, अलग कोई भी हो सकता है, तो इस तरह से होता है। तो एक सोशल प्रॉब्लम भी हो सकता है, तो हमको एनोनिमिटी वहाँ कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी वहाँ पे हमको मेंटेन करना जरूरी होता है। एंड फिजिकल हार्म होता है, जैसे मैंने बोला कि अगर किसी को पेन होता हो सकता है, किसी को इंजरी हो सकता है कुछ मेडिसिन वगैरह करने के लिए, या फिर पर्टिकुलर एक्ट ऑफ कुछ अगर मेरा रिसर्च में रहेगा तो वो करने से किसी को अगर फिजिकल इंजरी हो तो उसको हमको अवॉइड करना है। सो लीगल हार्म भी हो सकता है। लीगल हार्म कैसे हो सकता है, कुछ आप सोच सकते हो? लीगल हार्म कैसे हो सकता है? मैंने अल्कोहल बोला ना, अगर मैं बोलूंगा कि ड्रग्स, ठीक है, नार्कोटिक्स, द हैबिट ऑफ नार्कोटिक्स इन माय क्लास, ओके, जस्ट एक एक्सटेंडेड एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ। अगर मैं नार्कोटिक्स के ऊपर मैं सोशल टाइप ऑफ रिस्पॉन्स में देखना चाहता हूँ ड्यूरिंग माय रिसर्च, और आपने आपको समझाया कि मैं अच्छे से कर रहा हूँ, इसको कभी ऐसा होगा तो हमको कुछ बेनिफिट मिल सकता है, आपने अच्छे से पार्टिसिपेट किया और मैंने उसको पब्लिश कर दिया आपके नाम के साथ, ठीक है, तो फिर आपके नाम के साथ वो ड्रग जुड़ गया है, तो आपको, अगर वो बैन ड्रग होगा तो आपको जुडिशियल कस्टडी में भी लिया जा सकता है। तो इस तरह का लीगल हार्म भी आपको हो सकता है, तो दैट ऑल्सो आई हैव टू अवॉइड। तो ऑल दिस टाइप ऑफ हार्म टू द participants one must be aware and that should be avoided. ठीक है, it's best to consider every possible source of harm in your study as well as concrete ways to mitigate them. So that we have to see what are the possible harms that can happen to the participants. Involve your supervisor to discuss steps to harm reduction. Make sure to disclose all possible risks to harm the participants before the study to get informed consent. If there is a risk of harm, people to prepare to provide participants with resources or counseling or medical services if needed. Because certain for certain type of research, these participants are must. Without participant, many type of research we cannot proceed. Not केमिस्ट्री फिजिक्स बायोलॉजी में शायद हो जाएगा, बायोलॉजी में थोड़ा बहुत हो सकता है आपको जरूरत पड़े, पर फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री में बिना पार्टिसिपेंट का बहुत सारा रिसर्च हो जाता है. बट whenever participants are involved, you have to first understand that what are the possibility of harm that can happen to the participants. Okay. Here I have just given one example that I have already discussed. In a study on stress, college students were surveyed on their alcohol consumption habits. क्योंकि अल्कोहल कंजप्शन इज समटाइम्स रिलेटेड टू स्ट्रेस. स्ट्रेस बढ़ जाता है तो बच्चे अल्कोहल ले लेते हैं. उसके ऊपर दिस इज अ वेरी फेयर टाइप ऑफ रिसर्च, और हर इंस्टीट्यूट में, कॉलेजेस में इस टाइप का रिसर्च आजकल सोशल लोग कर रहे हैं. तो इफ समबडी इज डूइंग दिस टाइप ऑफ रिसर्च, सम ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस में ब्रिंग सम नेगेटिव इमोशंस. अगर स्ट्रेस हो रहा है और दे आर टेकिंग अल्कोहल, सो व्हाई यू आर टेकिंग दिस, व्हाई, व्हाट इज द रीजन ऑफ देयर, इफ दे आर आस्किंग मेनी क्वेश्चंस, that may means bring back their lot of flashback memories. So that time also that emotional stress can come. So that type of thing has to be minimized or avoided. आप कैसे अवॉइड करोगे ये आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, बट है कि पार्टिसिपेंट्स को बहुत तकलीफ ना हो, ये हमारा ध्यान रहना चाहिए. ठीक है, some of this question, and so you inform participants about the sensitive nature of the survey and assure them that their responses will be confidential. तो ये अच्छे से आपको बता के बोलना पड़ेगा कि मैं कॉन्फिडेंशियल पूरा मेंटेन करूंगा, करूंगी, और बट मेरे रिसर्च के लिए बहुत जरूरी है, आपको मैं कोई भी हार्म पहुंचाना नहीं चाहती हूँ, बट आपका ओपिनियन मेरे लिए जरूरी है. ठीक है, इस तरह से आप कन्विंस करके आप अपना डेटा कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, बट एनोनिमिटी मेंटेन करना बहुत जरूरी है, कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी मेंटेन करना बहुत जरूरी है. ठीक है, एक और एग्जांपल जस्ट दूंगा मैं. तो यहाँ पे एक बड़ा सा एथिकल फेलियर हुआ था एक मेडिकल रिसर्च के टाइम. So this Tuskegee syphilis studies was being conducted during 1932 to 1972. This study was carried out by an American public health study that violated research ethics throughout 40 years. During 40 years of research, they have completely violated the ethical guidelines. What they have done? In this study, 600 young black men were deceived into participating with a promise of free healthcare that was never fulfilled. So, American there is a agency which was conducting that particular study on syphilis. So they have taken 600 young black slave type of person. I told them slavery over there earlier. So they have strong black men they have chosen for that particular study, and they have told that we'll be providing you health care. So they were agreeing to the particular study. In reality, the actual goal was to study the effect of the disease when it is left untreated. They will introduce the disease to the participants and they will be not treated. So they will study that what are the bad effects that can happen to that particular strong persons. So this was the main actually motto of the study. And the researchers never informed the participants about the diagnosis of the research aims. Although the participants experienced severe health problems, including blindness and other complications, the researchers only pretended to provide medical care. So they were just giving some water type of thing that this you will be okay, you will be okay. They were not. They were just observing what are the bad effect that can happen when a normal person is given that particular drug or particular syphilis medicine. Okay, so this was the study. When treatment, and after that initiation of that particular research work, when treatment becomes possible in 1943, 11 years after the study began, none of the participants were offered it. So after 11 years of the study, this study was carried out for 40 years, and after 11 years they have studied that this medicine, they have got the actual remedy of that particular disease. But after that also they have not given the remedy to any of the participant. They wanted to see that how long these persons can have that effect of that particular medicine. Okay. So none of the participants were offered it despite their health conditions and high risk of death. Many persons died during that particular study also. By the end of the study, 128 participants had died of syphilis or other related complications. So out of 600 strong persons, 120%, 28 persons expired also. And the study ended only once its existence were made public. So after a very long time only, this studies things were made public, and it was just to be medically unjustified. This type of study is completely unethical. So this I have taken from the internet. You can find this particular example also in the internet. Okay. So this type of research, if somebody is doing, that is completely unethical and it should not be done. We have to do ethical measures during your research work. So these are the various steps of research Atindra sir has told you. In the previous class also we had discussed. So in every stage we have to maintain the ethical standards. Okay? Jitna. Okay, thank you all of you. हाँ ईमेल कर दी तो ये तो YouTube में भी अवेलेबल है और कैसे दे रहे हैं मेल कर रहे हाँ 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 अभी भी करेंगे मैंने तो सब उनको मेल किया है मेरा मैं आपका ईमेल आईडी हाँ तो ईमेल में मैं कर दूंगा ईमेल आईडी बताइए KALLOLA मेरा फर्स्ट स्लाइड में रहता है ओके थैंक यू सर अलग अलग था ओके ओके उड़िया कोई परिवार आप उड़िया है ना other you don't have attendance you're from BGFS why BGF हम जाके देख लेंगे अटेंडेंस किसका नहीं है ऐसा कैसे हो गया नहीं सर ये हम लोगों ने केमिस्ट्री का हाँ दे दिया लोगों के पास पहले से मैं बोलता हूँ आप थोड़ा सा वेट करो और किसी का है बायो का लाइसेंस का है दो तो फिर नहीं है ना केमिस्ट्री का मिल गया है और लाइफ साइंस का मिल गया है फिजिक्स और DDFS का नहीं मिला है ना तो मैं बोलता हूँ आप थोड़ा सा वेट करो